Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Shanghai, back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be discussing the results of the first semi-final of Eurovision 2022. We're going to look at the 10 who qualified and the 7 who didn't. So let's kiki. As always, you can use the time bar if you want to skip straight to one of my reactions. I'll leave timestamps there as well as in the description. I'm basically going to go through all of the 10 qualifiers and then I'm going to speak about all the 7 non-qualifiers as well. Obviously some more than others because some of them were quite shocking and some of them were a little bit less shocking. Sorry about the lighting today. It is very gloomy in Shanghai today, so I'm using whatever little light I get in my cave. Plus I've got a little bit extra light assistance, but yeah, the light is not perfect. This is looking a little bit messy right now because this is how I left after my live feed last night. Thank you to everyone who came and watched the semi-final with me. I will of course be live streaming the other semi-final. Okay, let's go through. First of all, the first qualifier called was Switzerland. Now look guys, this is causing a lot of controversy online. Now look, I will be the first to admit I didn't particularly like the song. It was at one point my 40th. It's not anymore. I've moved it up since. I do appreciate it a lot more. The absolute and utter vitriol coming from some people online towards Marius Bear is totally unacceptable in my opinion. Look, this definitely got a big jury vote, but that doesn't invalidate it qualifying. He qualified from a difficult semi-final. He absolutely deserves credit for that. I think this has got a televote. We've never had someone who purely got through in the jury and got 0 in the televote that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, please correct me. He's definitely got some televote points. It's just that the audience who like this probably just are less on Twitter than something like Albania. So there are fans for this, you don't know, we probably just don't see them as much. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where his fans are or who put him through. He got through fair and square. He gave a very classy performance. Sacha Jean-Baptiste definitely elevated this. It's not for us to decide who's deserving or not deserving. He made it through, he got the points. I've actually seen people like going onto his Twitter celebration post and actually posting like really like vile comments against him. It's just really, there's issues in the Eurovision fandom, which I think even the EBU addressed. They said stop tagging people and like bullying them, harassing them. It's a problem. But yeah, I'm happy for him. Got a pretty crappy running order in 4th and he pulled it off. So he deserves to be in the final. It's as simple as that. He got drawn in the first half. This could be a potential song that is going to be in the 2nd position slot. We tend to have like an upbeat song as the first song, and then the 2nd song is generally a little bit slower. And this is Switzerland's 3rd qualification in a row, so they've got a bit of a hot streak going now. Second cold was, I don't remember. Who was it? Armenia. Again, very, very well deserved. This is a really classy staging. She had a little bit of a blip when she went to open the door. This was that little surprise I was talking about that I didn't want to spoil for you. The mini surprises are her pulling off the like advent calendar lyrics to her song. And then the bigger surprise at the end is her pulling open the door and you see that actually she's been in her own little cubby and she goes out to the audience. I thought it was a really, really beautiful concept for staging. It also explains why they have this very long break after Norway, because there's a lot of breaks and I was like, why are they taking an ad break when there's only one song left? It's obviously because they need to drag the staging on. So yeah, well deserved by Armenia. They've also been drawn in the first half. So yeah, I'm not sure where they'll get placed. This is the first time that Armenia have been in the final since 2017 when, who was 2017? 2016 was Eveta Mukuchyan to Artsvik, Fly With Me. God, that was really a long time. It was 5 years ago. They have not been in the final for 5 years. So this is really, really great for Armenia. Someone who really excels at Junior Eurovision. Obviously, they won the last Junior Eurovision and we saw Milena at the competition. She did a little interview. She is 15 and she was so confident on stage. In any case, great to see Armenia back in the final. Okay, the 3rd cold, and this was such a pleasant surprise, but it was Iceland. Iceland were called. Iceland, this is called, yeah, really, really, really pleasantly surprised by this. This was called in the 2nd half. Yeah, really, really, really happy for Iceland. This is one that just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was really writing it off. I didn't think I had a shot. This was my number 34 in my rankings. And then when I saw the staging, it's really strange to me because the staging was so similar to Samba Knepning, but something about it just clicked with me. I think they've really used the sun in a perfect way because they've used it in the going into the final course like this beautiful sunrise where all the lights on the kinetic sun all flash up at the same time. And it feels really evocative with the sun because it feels like a real campfire nature, beautiful ethereal song. It just works so well. And I mentioned before in my predictions video, this was the reason I bumped them up, is because their recap is so brilliant and they were 14th in the running order as well. So Really, really happy for Iceland. They've got a great streak going on. They've got, this is their third qualification in a row, actually having gone through a streak of 4 non-qualifications. So they're in a real great streak. You know, Iceland are one of my favorite countries in the competition. They are the people, if you ask me, who do I want to win out of all 40 countries the most? It is absolutely and utterly Iceland. I want them to get that first win. It's kind of crazy that as fundamental in the Eurovision community they are, that they have not got that first win. So they've come second twice, but they've never got that win. So really, really happy for Iceland. That's going to be in the second half, which is good. We've got one of the slower songs in the second half because the first half was a little bit too dominated by slower songs. Let's just put in, sorry, while we're here, let me just tell you about the songs that are already in the first half. We have France, Spain, Germany, and Italy, who will specifically be in the 9th spot as hosts. They needed to pull their draw before the competition started, so they've been drawn 9th. And then 12 countries will go into the rest of the first half, and 12 countries will go into the second half. And then the UK were drawn in the second half. So you can see already that there is just a lot more slow songs. We've got France and Spain, but otherwise the ones that drew into the first half and the ones coming up are all quite slow. And this is going to be a problem with the producers, which I'm going to speak about later, because we're going to start talking about who could possibly open. But before we do that, let's go to the 4th country that was drawn. If you saw my live stream reaction, you'll see I had a huge reaction to Lithuania because I had totally and utterly written this off. I just didn't think that it was going to make it from that 3rd spot, being such a slow song, and also because Lithuania's diaspora, she got second half, because diaspora weren't in that semi. Ireland, UK have a lot of Lithuanians. Our televote points will almost have a big thing for Lithuania because of that. So she didn't have that. She had Latvia, she had Norway, which also has Lithuanian diaspora, but she got through because I think the jury would have helped her. They would have seen how elegant and classy and what a real star performer she is. And then hopefully there was a televote as well. I think hopefully people appreciate this. Obviously being so early, 3rd, you would kind of suspect that her televote would have gotten hit a little bit. But yeah, fair play to her for coming through. Funnily enough, this year, the 1st and 2nd songs both didn't qualify. I'll talk about that later. So she was the first person to qualify in the running order in the 3rd position. But yeah, she's going to be in the second half. I really, really hope she does well. This is the first like proper full Lithuanian song that has ever been in the final. Very interesting stat that someone pointed out to me on live stream is that 6 of the qualifiers from the semi-final sang in their native language. So that is really, really, really crazy. We know that on the winners of the competition, we know that last year the top 3 all sang in their native language. Obviously Italy's Etienne Boni, and then Voilà and Tout l'univers. French is one of the official languages of Switzerland. So wow, we're on a real great streak of European languages, non-English languages having great success. Okay, who was called 5th? It was Portugal. Portugal were called 5th. Really, really delighted by this. They also got put into the first half, another slow song in the first half. Absolutely delighted about this. This was one of the songs I was like a teeny tiny bit concerned for. I absolutely love the reaction when this was called Amaro, and these 5 girls, in case you don't know, her 5 backing up singers are all girls who competed in Festival de Canção with her. One of them is a girl who sang Ginger Ale, and then there are other contestants as well, and she's formed this bond with them, and it's just such a lovely story. And when she got called, they were all hugging. It's really, really enduring. She's one of like my absolute sweethearts of the competition. Just that story I mentioned, plus also the fact that this song is about her grandfather who recently passed, and just the staging is so intimate and delicate, and it just gives a real different feel. So I love that this is through to the final. Portugal, that's 2 in a row for them, and actually this pushes Portugal over 50% for the first time. After Eurovision is completed, I am going to do a video where I compare all of the qualifiers percentages and see who's moved up the tables. I'm going to save that for next week, because that's more of a next week video rather than this week. Okay, 6th cold was, oh yeah, 6th cold was my number 1s this year, which was Norway. Big relief for me. Obviously, I'm glad that they weren't left to last, because I already had quite a stressful reaction waiting for the last person, but this would have made it even worse. Yeah, Norway are just brilliant in Eurovision, really. I've always spoken so highly about Melfest, but for me, MGP's taken over from Melfest as just the best, most solid, excellent pop national final there is. I really do need to change my spiel when I talk about Melfest. Melfest is still good. I did think that this was a bit weak, but MGP this year was just absolutely fabulous. Brilliant winners, brilliant runner-up. Elsie Bay was also amazing as well. This is very well deserved. I thought their performance was very similar to MGP. No particular reason to change it. There's a rumor going right now that Tix is the astronaut. I'm not sure if that's a little bit of a prank or if it's actually real. But yeah, this unfortunately got drawn in the first half, which is a little bit disappointing because there is a possibility now that it could open. Obviously, it's an upbeat song. Seventh called was Greece. I think this one was quite obvious, so I'm glad they didn't call it last because I didn't think there was really that much of a chance it could not qualify. So I think it was better to get it out of the way so that you could have something a little bit more iffy at the end. But yeah, really great for Amanda. She also got drawn in the second half, so I'm pretty much guaranteed now that this is going to be a top 10 result for Greece, now that they are going to get a better televote. I already think their jury vote would have been pretty decent. So yeah, really great. If Greece gets a top 10, that'll be 2 in a row for them. This is their 3rd qualification in a row. I'm pretty sure they're top 5 in terms of qualification streaks. Really, really strong for Greece. 8th called was Ukraine, and I think it's nice they didn't call this last. I felt it would have been a little bit trashy if they had called this last, with kind of all the trauma and drama that's going, all the trauma that Ukrainians are going on. I think putting them last would have been a little bit gauche. So yeah, I like that they didn't leave it too late. It also was quite an obvious qualifier as well, so I think it would have ruined the suspense if it was going to be the 10th one. Interestingly now, this is a big thing. They got drawn in the first half, which I think is going to really, really liven up the odds. The odds haven't moved too much yet, but I think this opens the door to the odds going a little bit crazy when we get to the final, because if Ukraine had drawn the second half and come 18th, it would have really felt like it was very, very, very hard to catch up with them. The fact they're in the first half, I think, is going to make the final more exciting. It adds in an extra layer of unknowns. We do know that the later you are in the running order, it does help you. So yeah, this is good for the show. It's going to make it more exciting that there is that element of, okay, well, can other people catch up? Same with Italy also being drawn in the first half as well. This opens the door for UK to get a slightly better result. I do still think that the odds for the UK are being exaggerated. Keep in mind that a lot of bookmakers are based in the UK, so those odds just get a little bit inflated because anytime the UK sends anything remotely decent, there's this slight, I think there's like this slight patriotic push or just kind of slight over exaggeration. I still think that UK will do really, really well, but I think 3rd in the odds is possibly a little bit over the top still. But the fact that they are getting a good draw, whereas the other rivals are all in the first half, that's definitely going to help them. 9th drawn was Moldova. This was one of my real big unknowns. You remember I said that I thought they were going to not qualify and then non-qualify. In the rehearsals, it just came across very flat, but in the actual live performance, I think they got extra energy from the audience and this just came alive a lot more. This also got drawn in the second half. Good to have another upbeat song. So we've got 2 upbeat songs now in the second half. We do need a couple more upbeat songs. We are a little bit slower tempo heavy. I think the producers are probably a little bit aware of that. We do have more upbeat songs coming in the second semi-final though, so don't worry about that. I think the second semi-final is going to be absolutely electric. I cannot wait. Don't worry, I will do my community poll video and my predictions for semi-final 2, so do not worry about that. They will probably come out tomorrow, most likely early tomorrow. But yeah, Moldova, really, really, really happy for them. Their qualification record is fantastic. That's 4 times out of the last 5 years. People really like what they send. I think they really love the spirit. It's very heartfelt, whatever they send. And they've kind of built out their own little niche that feels very authentic. Cyprus have built out their own niche as well, sending these kind of like ethnic bops. I think Moldovan stamp feels very Moldovan. It's really, really, really nice. So I'm very happy for them. Zdub, I always say their name wrong. This is the 3rd time that they've qualified in 3 different decades. That is amazing. Absolute and utterly Eurovision royalty. I wonder if this will get their best results. They've come 6th and 12th. It would be kind of cool if it came 9th, because then it would be like 6, 9, 12. I don't know, that would be like a nice sequence. But yeah, I think this has a possibility to actually creep up quite high. People really, really reacted to this. And then the absolute utter trauma, I don't know if you've seen my posts on Twitter, my reaction to Netherlands qualifying, because I absolutely freaked out. Keep in mind, I'd only had around 3 hours sleep, and Netherlands are my number 3 song, and they got called last, which I was just pretty traumatized by. She also got drawn in the first half. Yeah, really, really relieved with this. I think it was kind of like a fun, clever one to pull at the end, because what happened to me was I saw the rehearsals and I posted on Twitter quite a gushing review of it that was like retweeted a lot, And then when people saw the clips, they were like, oh, this isn't great. And I was like, oh shit, have I completely and utterly exaggerated how good this was? And I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna look like a real idiot that this staging is an actual flop because everyone doesn't like it and I really liked it. But funnily enough, the feedback people are saying is that actually what I felt as well is that the clip that they've used is just really weak. And actually the performance is really, really magic. I want them to choose a different clip. I don't know why they've chosen that. They've chosen, I think, almost the weakest part of the end of the second chorus bit. I don't know why they don't pick the vocal crescendo, which is my favorite bit when I'm listening to the song and in the performance as well. And it's got great lighting. I think that's something that they need to rethink. I don't know then, this is total speculation. I have a feeling that the way the recaps work is they tell them which part it is. It's not like they look at what happened in the performance and pick it. They tell them we want from 1 minute 12 to 1 minute 22. And then it's just up to what happened between that. I don't think that they can change it. That's the impression I get. But yeah, I think they need to give them a different time allotment and pick something closer to the end or something with a more striking visual and a better vocal. But this is Netherlands' 5th qualification in a row. That puts them equal with Israel, who are also 5. Cyprus are 6. Sweden are 9. Sweden are 8, and Ukraine are infinity because Ukraine have never not qualified. Ukraine are the qualification gods. Oh my god, my contact lens is fucking awful. Okay guys, so those are the 10 qualifiers. Before we talk about the non-qualifiers, let's just have a quick look at the running order and see who do we think could open. Now, the opening song is almost always upbeat. It doesn't have to be. In 2013, we opened with France, L'Enfer et Moi, which was more kind of like rocky, slower song. Not a ballad, but it wasn't really up-tempo. But since then, we've pretty much had non-stop upbeat songs. We had Chameleon. In 2014, we had TikTok. 2015, we had, I think it was Mariah from Slovenia. We had What's the Pressure in 2016, Under the Ladder, El Diablo last year. So yeah, and we had Israel as well, Ari something, the muscle dude from Israel. So yeah, it is always pretty much always an upbeat fun song. We just need to assume that they're going to keep with that pattern. People are talking about Spain opening. There's absolutely no chance Spain are opening. This would look so shady if they did that. Italy are a favorite and they're hosting. If they put, it's not them who decides, it's Rye, but it's also with the producers as well. If Spain are put first, people are going to blame Italy and they're going to be like, you're rigging it for yourself. They just can't do that. It's just not going to fly. On top of that, this is the first time that in a long time that Spain are being talked about as potential winners. Spain haven't won in 53 years. And on top of that, their Euro fans are super, super passionate. Spain really loves Eurovision. Spain is one of the few countries where you can go to clubs outside of Eurovision season and there's Eurovision songs. They really do love it, the competition. I put them up there with Greece and Israel for like genuinely like really, really loving it. Their fans will just not stand for this. I'm still getting messages in some of my videos about this like group who are trying to get justice for Tanshi Geras like 4 months after it's happened. They're passionate. If this is put first in the running order, there will be 1,000 dead bulls' heads in the head of the RAI's double bed. So look, they're just not going to risk it. France is a possible opener that could happen. I think that would be a little bit sad. Like I said, they already opened 2013. I know that's 9 years ago, but really you should kind of have it that like everyone has to take a turn in being first before you come back to other countries. Ukraine have already done it twice. They did it in 2014 and 2018. Someone actually replied to me on Twitter and said, well, they do it every 4 years, so they need to do it again, which I thought was very clever. But yeah, I think that this isn't the Olympics, so it's not like Ukraine has to be the opener every 4 years. It would kind of make sense as a story that Ukraine opens, but again, as favorites, putting them first, again, it's going to look bad on Italy. People are going to be saying that Italy are rigging it for themselves, especially since they're second in the odds. I just don't think it's going to work with the optics of Italy hosting. So that really just leaves Norway. Yeah, it just leaves Norway. Norway would kind of make sense. They haven't been openers in a while. So yeah, Norway haven't been first in a long, long time. So that would make sense. Maybe it's a little bit too esoteric as an opener. I think you probably want something that's maybe a little bit more relatable. I love it, obviously, you know, but I wouldn't want my favorite to go first. Well, no, that has happened to me before because TikTok is in my top 5 all-time favorite Eurovision songs, and that opened. So I feel like a longer time needs to pass before my number 1 gets thrown under the bus again. Keep in mind, there are 3 slots left for the first half and there are 7 slots left for the second half. So potentially we might have Czech Republic open. We could have San Marino. We could have Ireland if Ireland pull out a big surprise, which I'm kind of hoping for. If we go just by what the bookies are talking about in the odds, they're saying that Poland, Estonia, Serbia, Czech Republic, Finland, Belgium, Cyprus are going through. So there's a lot of more upbeat songs which are potentially going to go through in the second half. And you know, unless they get unlucky and the ballads all draw the first half, it looks like the producers will have to use someone who comes from the second half. Okay, let's talk about the non-qualifiers. We've got all the non-qualifiers here. By far the most controversial one, which is causing a lot of ruckus online, is Albania. And I'm really, really sad for this because, you know, I'm a massive fan of Renal Hajati. I think she's really invested herself wholeheartedly into the community this year. She's got a lot of fans on Twitter and everywhere else. She's been to all the pre-parties. Look, this is just, they've obviously need time to recover after this. It's very, very sad, but when they sit down and look at it, there were a lot of mistakes made. The staging is worse than Fick. The styling was worse than Fick. There's just too many things that, you know, Fick happened so early. It's in December. The team has had 4 or 5 months. In my opinion, that final product was worse. Strategically, it wasn't there. She had way too much choreography, which meant that her vocals suffered a little bit. I don't even think that the choreography that they used was even that great to justify sacrificing the lyrics. There were some cool moments with the helicopter. I didn't like the color story of the blue and pink. We saw that 100 times last year. I don't know why they picked that. She did say she didn't want to pick reds and fire. She felt it was too obvious. I have a feeling they wanted to present something new for the fans, but maybe they should have been a little bit more strategic. Again, this is the key word. Like Sweden and Norway and Lithuania, and gone with something that they already knew worked. The fixed staging would have been a good starting point to build off of. The music video had a lot of good ideas. They didn't use any of them. They just had the guys in the kind of leather kilts, but they didn't keep any of the magic, any of the war paint, any of the voodoo witch stuff. Really, really confusing, just bad decision making. Probably this means that Albania is going to go back to just sending ballads all the time. Other heartbreak for me was Latvia. I really, really ended up loving this. These boys again have been so involved in the community and they've been working really, really hard. Really, really, they were absolutely gutted. I know that they were in tears about it. Some of them were. And Monica from Lithuania went up and she was consoling them. Just really sad. They've just got dicked over by the running order. I'm pretty confident this came 11th. We'll have to wait until Sunday morning to find out who came 11th in the semi, but I think that this was definitely close. When I did my live stream, everybody had a huge reaction to this, very much mirroring what I felt, that this was fun, exciting, vibrant. When he said pussy, everyone in the audience said it along with him. It was just a real moment, and I just felt if this had been later on, it would have been okay, but it relied on the televote, and televote for the number 2 slot is just, it's too difficult. So really, really sad for them. And the kind of alarming thing is that this puts Latvia on a 5 non-qualification streak. You know, Latvia really, really are going through a tough time now. Yeah, I really hope that this doesn't discourage them too much, but I really do feel like Latvia's gotta just have a little bit of a revamp on what they're doing or what their process is. Now, I thought City Jenny was really, really great, but for example, with that song, I felt it was so repetitive. I felt they should have had a revamp with a really, really good producer. They gotta look at where they're putting their money. Why not send this song away to London and the Netherlands to just give it a little bit of a revamp, make it a little bit more polished. I thought their actual visual stage show was perfect, but the song itself, a bit repetitive, could have been elevated. So just looking at small things like that going into the future, what can they do a little bit differently? Bulgaria in the end, I saw a lot of people were very impressed with this stage show. Look, I just want Borislav Milanov to come back. That's my solution. I think I even posted that on the Bulgaria Twitter. You know, they did fine without him last year with Victoria, but yeah, he's their absolute and utter secret weapon. And you know, he put them as favourites to win in 2020 before the competition was cancelled. So yeah, I would love to see him come back. But Bulgaria have taken a lot of shit this year in a similar vein to Switzerland. I feel like they've been the kind of like the punching bags. I really do hope that when the results come out, they haven't come last. I think that they did a great show. It looked very professional, really put together. I don't think that they deserve so much criticism. A slightly more disappointing one again was Austria. I really did feel this was coming. I put them out of my predictions in my video just before the show. If I'm really, really honest, I just don't get why. Love Prey Maria, she seems like such a lovely girl, but why are they picking an artist who can sing the song? Or why are they not changing the songs? It's just really strange decision making. It's a good song. I think it definitely has enough quality to go through, but yeah, it's just a little bit confusing why they've given it to a really, really young girl who obviously has less experience and is, you know, we've seen a lot of the young girls being really prone to nerves. We saw Michaela was really nervous, Blanche, Roxanne, these girls. it's a lot of pressure to put on a young person. Absolutely, some people can just rise to it. Christian Kostov was amazing, but I think mentally taxing and not good for their mental health. And some of them are able to rise to it, but it's just a ton of pressure. And yeah, I just feel like she was given something that was a little bit above her capabilities. Yeah, that's it. It's a sad situation. Okay, Slovenia. Yeah, I just never thought this had a shot. I think this is probably going to come last in the semi. I saw in the bookies odds this at one point was 17-1. I've said all I've had to say about Slovenia. That's 3 in a row for Austria, so they do need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. Denmark, now this is 2 non-qualifications in a row. I don't know if it's absolutely panic stations for them, but if you look at a country that had a qualification rate of 75%, was one of the best, and then that's 2 non-qualifications in a row, I do feel that Denmark is not kind of rolling with the times. I do feel like Dance Melody Grand Prix is a little bit too twee and feels quite conservative. They had a song this year which I really felt would have given a lot of potential. It was Full Defect. It was a really out there song. I really wish they would have sent something a little bit risky. I do feel like Denmark is just kind of like sending very Christian pop safe songs recently. Yeah, I wonder, will the fact this non-qualified be a slight impetus on Dance Melody Grand Prix to make some small changes? 2 non-qualifications in a row, is it enough, or are they just going to put it down to bad luck? But yeah, why was there no upgrade in the staging from Dance Melody Grand Prix to this? It's fine to copy and paste if you've got a really, really amazing product, but I don't think at any point anyone was saying that their national final staging was really amazing. It felt quite basic to me. Yeah, just felt like there was a lack of elevation. This possibly feels, from my outside perspective, feels possibly a little bit lazy and safe in its final form. And then the last place, not last place, but the last non-qualified talk about is Croatia. Again, another country I'm a little bit worried for, because this is 4 non-qualification streak, and I wonder how many punches they can take. Obviously, it's not as bad as Latvia's 5 non-qualification streak, but I do worry for Croatia. Definitely not the worst qualification rate in the competition. Another thing to note is that we've lost a lot of Balkans. We've lost Albania, Bulgaria, and Croatia, and Slovenia. I am hoping that means that will give Constracta an extra boost in semi-final number 2, because really anyone Balkan, this is all that they've got to get behind now. Sorry if I'm leaving any Balkan countries out, but yeah, we've lost a lot of Balkans here. Disappointing for Croatia. I hope that this doesn't deter them. Okay, so these are the 10 qualifiers that went through, including where the big 5 have been placed, and these are the 7 non-qualifiers. Let me know who you thought were surprises and who you were very happy about. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Keep an eye out for my semi-final 2 community poll comparison before and after rehearsals, plus my final semi-final 2 predictions. And of course, I will be live streaming on Thursday night, which will be 3 a.m. my time, 9 p.m. CET. Do come and join me if you are able to. You can see me freaking out as people are announced, especially if Ireland I don't know, I don't want to get into it. I have a couple of people that I'm going to be extremely nervous for in semi-final number 2. Okay, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another reaction video very soon. Goodbye.